With one Hall of Famer retired, another future Hall of Famer becomes the talk of the town. Jets general manager Joe Douglas is admitting to people in the league that his team will, quote, go all out in order to trade for quarterback Aaron Rodgers, according to what's PFN 365, Pro Football News 365.
Nailed it.
Okay. Do we? I just, again, I'm not in any way trying to talk ish on 365, but
it's a Twitter handle that is called. They call themselves the Pro Football Network. Maybe Dan's familiar with this source. I don't.
Yeah, Pro Football Networks. Yeah, they're may not be as popular, but they are legit. There are certain writers that I know have covered the NFL for a while that work for them.
Okay, so reputable.
Yes.
Okay, good. As long as we're talking reputable, and I wouldn't think that all of us would be doing something that wasn't reputable. And we have seen breadcrumbs out there from Adam Schefter, league sources saying, right? And I do think that there are teams that they try and pollute the waters. You know, wouldn't you? If you thought you could get Aaron Rodgers, where you're like, what if we tell people, you know, if we leak it out there, we're willing to do whatever it takes. Well, then, because it clearly works, Aaron Rodgers, without any sort of quotes from anybody reputable in the organization, like, well, the Green Bay Packers would, league sources think the Green Bay Packers may be willing to move on from him, and Aaron Rodgers talks about it. But how could you do the Jets considering the history of the Favre thing? Right? Like, it wasn't that long ago. I know it was a long time. It wasn't that long ago. And it was the Jets. Like, how could you do that? It does feel like anywhere but the Jets, even though the Jets make complete sense. Because they're in, hey, I got to win now mode. They need a quarterback. They absolutely went out and hired Nathaniel Hackett, who everybody thinks Aaron Rodgers has a great working relationship with. So it's like, what are we actually doing here? You know, can history repeat itself? Byron, what do you think? Is that too far-fetched to see history repeat itself?
No, not in this scenario.
Why?
Just because I do think that the Jets as a team have something that a veteran quarterback would like. I also think that Rodgers would go from one extreme to the other, just like Favre did when it comes to the media. And I don't know if maybe he would secretly like that, but, I mean, you want to talk about, hey, I want to try something different in my life, that would be a part of it as well. And, just, you know, New York for the city that it is. If you're Aaron Rodgers and looking at post-life, who knows?
What do you think, Jay Stu?
I think it would be fascinating for us. I think that there's so much content in Aaron Rodgers playing for the Jets that we would explode. You've always said that, the reason why the Jets get so much attention is because most people in the media went to Syracuse, and upstate New York people like the Jets. And I'm fascinated from a producer standpoint. Logistically, I don't know. I mean, seems like you have to give up what? You have to give up draft picks, maybe even a current player, and you have to put, $50 million on the books? I'm guessing the Jets have all that. Do they want to mortgage that with a bunch of young guys? And why would Aaron Rodgers want to join a team with a bunch of young guys? I thought he likes his Randall Cobbs of the world. It doesn't seem to fit.
It fits in the bigger market, and the ultimate in terms of big market. Quarterback desperation, working with your buddy. I don't know in terms of like personnel, but yeah, I mean, you go from Green Bay, smallest market in the league, to biggest market in the league. But yeah, I think you're talking about some of the granular details. I think working with Hackett would be kind of a very obvious sign of, hey, we're trying to, make it a friendly landing spot for you. I wonder about the Packers. The Packers, remember, there's dead cap money if you trade them. So I don't know how that looks. I don't know how that is adjusted. But two, do you want to be the guys that traded Aaron Rodgers when you had him under contract? I think a lot of this is just the Jets trying to pollute the waters too. Hey, man, look, we got the Jets. We got a good team. We just need a quarterback. We got you, Nathaniel Hackett. We'll take on your salary. We'll pay whatever it costs. We'll do whatever it takes. But it's like Brett Favre's name now is not the same as Brett Favre's name 5 years ago, or maybe even 10, before some of the Jen Sturger stuff came out even. Right? And like, are you really going to follow the same path? It does feel like, gosh, golly, how could you go to the Jets? And you're going to the Vikings next? That part is just weird to me. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but it strikes me as weird. I understand why Joe Douglas would want. The other part to it is, and this is a big thing, is look, I think that Rodgers is a better dude than he lets on. He's a more likable dude than he lets on. I don't think, but God, his body language is bad when he plays. And as much as you could say, hey, it's a different Jets, this is a new era, this is new offensive coordinator, new stuff, it's still the Jets. I don't know. I feel like that's one of the things that wore out Tom Brady in Tampa was that he went to play for an organization that just wasn't buttoned up. And even the first year when they won, like, remember, they were a wild card. They had to win 3 road games. They figured it out. They had a little bit of fortune go their way. But when you look at Bruce Arians retiring, I think at least a portion of that had to be like Tom Brady sitting there going, this is not the best run ship in the world. When you're used to it being run one way, and then all of a sudden it's not, like the Green Bay Packers have their flaws. I'm sure he doesn't love, LaFleur's offense. He doesn't love the fact that there's no real ownership group, so the front office kind of answers to themselves. But the Packers have been really good. Up until this year, they won 13 games. 2 years in a row, 26 games in 2 years. To go from that to the Jets, I don't know, man. That one strikes me as hard. Maybe because everybody wants something new. That one strikes me as a difficult one to concede. A source told the Pro Football News that Davante Adams is lobbying hard to bring Rodgers to the Raiders. Okay, that was later confirmed this week. I'm sure he'd love to have Aaron Rodgers there. And Aaron Rodgers there, I mean, you got a quarterback friendly, but they have offensive line issues. Vegas, another cool kind of market. I think him can you imagine that division? Oh, can you imagine that division, kids? And I understand this is all purely speculation. And somehow we've gotten caught in the sports radio. Yeah, you can't speculate. No, when I'm speculating something, I don't talk in definitives, right? Like there are people in this business, in this space, who are purely speculating, and they're like, Lamar Jackson's played his last game for the Ravens. Like, well, do you know that, or are you speculating that? Like that's where you got to be careful with your semantics. It'd be pure speculation. I think all these teams would be interested, but how much does it cost? Well, it's going to cost you 3 first-round picks. Plus, you got to take out a salary. Plus, you got to send a player. Like, no. Because we always ask definitives of, would you trade Aaron Rodgers? Well, I don't want to trade Aaron Rodgers, but is he refusing to play for us? And I trade him if you're going to give me 3 first-round picks and you give me a couple players. Like, yeah, then I would consider it. I don't mind healthy speculation on sports. That's what pays our bills. But if you're going to speculate, you got to say you're speculating. It's not speculation if it's reported. Davante Adams like, hey, man, I'd really want Aaron Rodgers.